Now I know what you're thinking. Who is this guy, for one? And two, why would he be a good coach? I'm here to explain that today. And before anyone asks, should he even be a head coach? Yes, undoubtedly, I feel like he should be our next head coach. First, we're gonna go over a little bit his backstory. We're gonna make this a quick one. He started off at Baylor, got his start as a graduate assistant, then became a coaching assistant in Carolina, and then and he's been fast rising. Like if you look at his like how fast he's risen, like we're talking about in the last like 4 to 5 years, it's been steady, like pretty fast. And I know he got his start with Matt Rule. He went to Carolina with Matt Rule too, because he started in Baylor with him. Then he went to Carolina. And then we look at Minnesota. He was basically an assistant everywhere, like assistant to the head coach, assistant QB coach, assistant offensive coordinator. He's been assistant all the way through, and then up until now, where he's a OC for Jacksonville. And I would say he's been pretty impressive. Watching Trevor Lawrence this year, this is a little bit of side tangent, but watching Trevor Lawrence this year versus other years, I know he had that 1 year with Urban Meyer, which we're not going to really speak on that too much. It's not the point of the video. But watching that disaster versus now is like night and day. And even with steady coaches, the steady coaching Trevor Lawrence has had, I would say this is probably his best year. I would say it's his best year, especially with how streaky Mr. Lawrence can be over there. I would say, yeah, it definitely has something to do with Mr. I don't know how to even pronounce his last name. Let me find that out. Oh, give me 1 second. Udinsky. 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 I think it's Odinsky. I think it's Odinsky. Udinsky. I'm gonna say Odinsky and see how it goes. But yeah, back to the video though. I think I figured it out. Odinsky. He's definitely, from what I've seen, just the eye test. Trevor Lawrence has looked a lot better. The offense seems a little less, from last year, a little less like stagnating certain areas. If we look at like his philosophies, it's a lot of that kind of like that West Coast system. The usual. You'll see the usual West Coast, like it's like a modern West Coast philosophy. A little modernized with like a balanced attack and alignment versatility, just multiple ways to attack. Less conservative than like a traditional West Coast. Um, if you look at it, I would. If you look at it, he has some. Ooh, stutter. Lord have mercy. But he has some good play designs. I will say I'm not sure on if he's ready to be a coach like that, but I'm willing to let it. It's kind of like the Mike McDaniel thing was like we're not really positive on whether or not he can be a good, like a good, kind of like that, kind of like what Stefanski was for the last few years, which is that keeping the locker room together, keeping them not positive, but at least keeping them all tight knit. We don't know if he could be like that, handle it professionally, get things done kind of style. Which is shocking because people kept thinking Stefanski wasn't that, but that's exactly what was going on in Cleveland. We don't know if he can be that, but he has such a great mind that I feel like if you can convince him to come here, then keep Jim Schwartz. And while Jim Schwartz might not work out as a head coach, I think could teach the young buck a few young. I don't know why I'm calling him young buck, like as if I'm not like young too. But if you could, he could probably teach him a few things. I think Jim Schwartz can definitely help him, and if you give him a good foundation, well, what the team has currently on offense, it does look a little streaky, but I feel like he has a good eye for talent. I feel like he can definitely make some things work. Another thing that I watch for closely in certain coaches and OCs and hires is what is your track record at the end of games? Because I feel like when it comes down to it, it's kind of like a quarterback. Yeah, I like what you're doing in the first 3 quarters, but what are you doing in the fourth? That's gonna make me say, off of eye test alone, okay, you might have something. You might have something there. And with the Jaguars this year, I swear it's like as if they pull something out their crack. I don't know what they do, but they're able to like close games, claims games a little farther away from what I've seen. Maybe someone could tell me otherwise, but I feel like as if I can trust that if Odinsky was our coach in the fourth quarter, when things get real tight, you're gonna find a way. And that's why I've been seeing, like, people can talk as much as they want about what's going on in Chicago, but them boys find a way in the end, and that's all I really care about. Yeah, you do need a quarterback for that. That's a whole nother conversation with the Browns. But I genuinely feel like Odinski could be one of those guys that even without a quarterback, he can make something shake in the fourth quarter. Maybe not go his way, but I feel like when it comes down to it, when it's time for the aggression, even when up by a score, he could definitely apply pressure, and that's what I want to see with the offense. What besides just fixing the main, like the run game needs to fix, yes. The offensive line needs to fix, yes. We need better wide receivers, yes. But at the end of the day, if we can get a few more, if we can get some talented pieces, do free agency in the draft and draft well enough, and I want to see how his eye for talent looks. I think he's been good so far in Jacksonville. I'm not sure what exactly super duper he's in charge of, but I think if you get established OC with him, you can probably have him, and then plus with Andrews, like last draft, I feel like we can get some more offensive talent, and we're not completely anemic. But I just want to see, like, if we hire him, I believe we would see in fourth quarters, kind of like what's going on in Jacksonville, even without a good quarterback, he can make something shake. And pair it with that defense, you can win a lot more games than you did this year. So that's why I would trust him as a new hire. I know some people ain't completely positive because he's super new. You don't know much about him. Heck, even when I heard about him, and I'm like a super casual, I know some details that some people don't even know. But like the casual person don't know. But even I was just like, oh, this sounds interesting. Just doing a little bit of research, I'm like, yes. So all in all, he's a good choice. I believe him. I believe in him to be a Mike McDaniel style. You will have to put some safety precautions around him just in case, and like break glass emergency if this goes wrong, or if this, train him up a little bit. You might have to put a few training wheels. And I know he's a head coach, right? Have to put training wheels. It's because he's so he's fairly new that I don't know. I'm not completely trusting of everything, but I just think from what I have seen so far, that man has it. And in clutch scenarios, I believe he will have it. So in all, I'm ending this video off here. How do y'all feel about? I'm still kind of sketchy on the name. Odinski, Udinski. I'm gonna say Odinski. Just tell me if I'm wrong in the comment section. But how do y'all feel? But also in the comment section, tell me how do you feel about him as a head coaching prospect. I know he's super new, so you might not know much about him. But if you would just hire him off of what you do know so far, especially what I've said in this video, would you trust in him? Would you have fear? What is your concerns? Would you be excited about him? Just let me know down below. That's it for today. Y'all have a good day and a good evening. I'm signing off.